everybody, this is Heather Sides. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Spokane, Washington. I come to you every week, every Wednesday night at 6 p.m. Pacific time, and I usually have 3 cards or other projects to share with you, things that I have made, and then I show you how I made them. We have a lot of fun here, so if this is your first time, welcome. If you are a repeat joiner, thank you for coming back. We'll give everybody a couple of minutes to just kind of find me as we get started. And while we're doing that, I'm also trying to pull this up on my computer monitor to make sure that I can see everybody's comments. Speaking of comments, I really encourage everybody to participate in conversation. It just makes it so much more fun. I see that Judy is here, Colleen is here, Robin's here. Welcome, you guys. Thanks for joining us this week. I've got 3 fun folds for you guys this week, so I'm very excited. Good evening, Jennifer. Welcome. I like to do the fun folds just because it's something a little different, and they're usually pretty easy. I've made a couple that, really have a wow factor. You look at them and you're like, oh, that must have been so difficult. And they really are quite easy once you see how they were made. So, let's see. So I've got everything up on my screen. I can see your comments. So again, I encourage you guys to participate in conversation. If you're not talking to me, you're welcome to talk to each other. Hey, Tammy, welcome. And Teresa joined us. Welcome, Teresa. So let's see what's happening in the Sides household this week. My son is starting a job. We're just waiting for them to come back with, the drug test and all of that, which he's not really super concerned about. And the background check, he does not exactly have a life of crime in his background, so that's probably going to come back just fine. Let's see what Lucy's up to. Lucy is getting more and more out of control. She's a very naughty girl, and you probably have her mother to blame for that. Because I'm somehow failing in the training department. So I have committed myself to reading articles and doing whatever I can to try to eradicate some of these behaviors. And I know I could take her to obedience training, but the thing is, the place that I took Phineas that I really, really liked, at this age, well, first of all, at this age, they're just teaching them the basic things like how to walk on their leash, how to sit, how to stay, and which I think those are all really important things. But I think a lot of that is more about training the person so that they know what's fair to expect of their puppy and how to get them to do it. How, what's the proper way to reward them and incentivize them or whatever, and how to go about it. And since I went through all that so recently with Phineas, I kind of feel like I don't really need to go through it with Lucy. But then once I get her past, her obnoxiousness right now, then I would like to take her to the next level puppy training for some of that more advanced stuff that I haven't been through yet. So we'll be doing that. But like I said, she's just got these horrible behaviors right now. And the thing she's doing right now, let's see, Robin said she was thinking she was going to have to rescue me from a longer... I thought I was going to have you... Oh, you thought I was going to have to get you a Longaberger basket from Goodwill? Did you find one in the Spokane Goodwill or something online? I would do that for you anytime. So if it ever comes up, you let me know. Anyway, one of the things she's really bad about is golden retrievers by nature. You'll find this online. Are thieves, and they love to steal stuff, and she really, really does. And her most favorite thing to do are to steal our socks and underwear. So she likes to tear them out of our laundry hamper, and then we always know when she has something that she knows she's not supposed to have, because she'll suddenly take off running, like she's running to get away from us because she knows we'll take it away from her as soon as we see it. So of course that's, a surefire indicator to us that she's got something she shouldn't have. So anyway, one of the things that I'm working with her on right now is the give it to me command. And so what I've started doing is I'm like, give it to mama. And right about the same time she gives it to me, I give her a treat, right? And so she's starting to associate the term give it with a reward. So that's starting to go well. We're still in the very early stages. Anyway, this morning she kept bringing me socks. And so I think she thinks she's selling them to me for dog treats. So, yeah. So right now, I apparently seem to be trading in the black market sock and underwear market. However, they're my own things. So, I'm buying them back. So she's like holding them ransom, I guess. Anyway, obnoxious little girl. Hey, Marsha, welcome. Welcome, Judy. So we've got a few people on here now. Colleen's here. Welcome. What I'd like to do is go ahead and turn turn the camera around. I have a couple of things I want to show you, new products that Stampin' Up! Is coming out with that I want you to know about, because they're kind of fun and kind of cool. And then, talk about events, whatever. And then we'll do our weekly drawing, and then we'll get going on our cards. How's that sound? Let me get this all turned around. Hang on just a sec. Okay, let's see here. Make sure this is nice and tight so that it's stable, It's kind of not going right where I want it tonight. There we go. I think that's a little bit better. And it's almost straight. Wow, that's crazy. Okay, so let's move this all around. Okay. Ooh, Marsha's coming in from Texas. That's kind of cool. You know what? My stepson lives in Texas right now. He is in, he's been in Lubbock, but he's moving to Austin. And I might be visiting, try to remember where I'm going. Arlington. I might be going to Arlington in November. So, let's see. I'm trying to see somebody. You guys are talking about catching somebody else's live today, and I'm trying to figure out who it is, because if it's not somebody I already watched, then I want to put it on a list to watch other lives. Because I love watching everybody else's videos, and I get great ideas and inspiration, and, we just kind of all feed off of each other. So I love that about what we've got available to us with YouTube and that kind of thing. A lot of you guys probably know, that almost tipped over. That would have gone badly. Anyway, a lot of you guys probably know that in a different lifetime, I was a demonstrator before. And, back then, yeah, we had the internet, but this whole live streaming thing wasn't even a thing back then. And the only time you really ever got to see other demonstrators' stuff is if you went to team meetings and you would see other people on your team. But now, you can see people all over the world, and I love that. So, okay, so it sounds like it was Marcy's that they were talking about, Marcy's live, and I am like most of the way through it. I had to watch it on the replay. But it's really good. So, Marcy Rogers, has some really good ones, and Tammy Savello has some really good ones as well. So if you have not checked out their YouTube pages, you should, or their Facebook pages. Renee Conkey, I think that's how to say it. I'll have to check her out. So, okay, so let's talk about this. So Marsha says you're not far from Dallas, about 20 minutes from Arlington. Oh, okay. So, kind of where I might be in November. So, very cool. Okay, so the first thing I want to tell you about is this birthday card organizer kit that Stampin' Up! Just brought out. It's $25, and it makes it's like a book where you store your cards for the future. Like, say, like each page is a month or whatever, and so you can put all your June birthdays. People, have June birthdays, and put them in the June pocket and that kind of thing. So, it really is cool. I'm going to get one because I think it looks really neat, and I think it would make a great gift for some people. Like even if you have a family member or a friend who likes to send cards, maybe doesn't necessarily like to make cards, maybe isn't especially crafty, then what you could do is make it for them and give it to them as a gift, maybe even with some cards already in it. So that would be pretty cool, I think. So let's see here. Yes, I do agree with that, Teresa. My golden retriever that I had for like 12 years, my kids were little at that time, and he loved to eat their socks. They were like the perfect size for him. So Marcia says she's ordered this kit. Great. Well, make sure you post pictures of what you get when when you've made it so that we can see. Okay, another kit they've just brought out is the Christmas gifting kit, and this looks like a lot of fun, and I think this looks like something that would be really fun to get together with some friends, and like each of you buy a copy of it and just make them together. And it looks like Christmas tags and maybe gift card holders and things like that. So I think I think this one looks really neat. And then we've got next month's paper pumpkin, that it looks like it's going to also be tags. But then there's also these cute little gift bags you can order as a bonus thing to order. So I'm totally excited about next month's paper pumpkin kit. And you have until November 10th to order that. Speaking of that, Stampin' Up! Has started to ship out the October kits. So I should be getting mine fairly soon. So be watching for my notice of doing my alternate ideas video. Oh, Kathy says she got the birthday kit and it just arrived today. How fun. Well, like I said before about the other kit, make sure you post pictures of what you create. I love seeing what everybody else creates, so make sure you post pictures. Okay, then a reminder that for the month of October, Stampin' Up! Has this great special on our starter kit. You pay $99. Normally, when you pay $99 for your kit, you get $125 worth of products of your choice. You pick what goes in your kit. Right now, during the month of October, you get $155 worth of free product. That's $30 extra dollars and you pay $99. You get $155 worth of products that you choose. Plus you get a paper pumpkin kit. Plus you get catalogs and things like that in case you want to share them with friends. And then you also get free shipping, which is going to be about a $16 to $20 savings right there. So you get about $200 worth of stuff for $99. It is the best deal that we have. Even if you have absolutely zero interest in selling anything, I recommend signing up for this. You have 3 months to try it out. If you decide it's not for you, no big deal, no harm, no foul. Nobody's upset, no hurt feelings. You just go back to being a customer like you were before, and everybody is happy. Stampin' Up! Does not discriminate against the different types of demonstrators, hobbyists who are just doing it to support their own habit, or business people who are trying to create a business. Stampin' Up! Treats us all the same. So again, if you are not a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, but you are a customer, you really should consider this deal. It's such a great deal and there's nothing to lose. And finally, if you are in the Spokane area, I'm going to be holding an in-person event on the 29th of October at the library in Millwood. Excuse me. And we will be making a gift set of cards where you'll be making the box. You'll make 5 cards that go on the inside as the gift, a card that goes on the outside for your recipient. This picture is a little misleading because it shows the Celebrate Sunflowers set because I made this kit on one of my lives a few weeks ago, but we will actually be using, see if you can get it up close. We're going to actually be using this Sweetest Cherries bundle with the cherry stamps and the punch, and that is part of the class fee unless you already have it, and then of course you don't have to purchase that part again. So that's all the stuff I have going on that I want to share with you guys. Let's get on to our drawing. This week's drawing, remember, if you are new, let me explain the drawing really quick. if you are new, what I do is because I encourage everybody to participate in the conversation. Again, talk to each other, talk to me, ask questions, whatever. It just makes it more fun when it's more interactive. What I do is a couple hours before I go live next week, I'll pull up this week's video and make note of everybody who has left a comment of any kind, whether it was part of conversation or just saying, hey, Heather, hey, this is Heather from Spokane. If you make a comment, your name goes into the drawing. And then everybody whose name is in the drawing, I pull one out and the winner gets that week's prize that I announce at that night's video. It is not restricted to people who are just watching this live. If you are watching the replay on either YouTube or here on Facebook, still go ahead and leave a comment because your name will still go into the drawing. Marcia says this is her first time watching. Very cool. Well, we are excited to have you, Marcia. I hope you have fun with us. I'm sure you will. We have a fun group here. Okay, so tonight's prize is the In Your Words stamp set. It's kind of fun. It's a sentiment set. It was a celebration gift. Now it's been a couple years ago. And tonight's winner is Ann Colbert Kurland. And I don't know if she's on yet. She's on quite frequently. So Ann, I don't think I have your mailing address. So if you want to send me either an email at stamphappenings@gmail.com or a message here on Facebook with your mailing address, I can pop this in the mail to you. So congratulations, Ann, for being this week's winner. I also just have a few cards I want to show you real quick that people have sent to me. I love to share the cards that I receive. And this one came from Susan Goodman. She's usually on here, so she might be on right now. And look, she decorated her envelope. You know how I love decorated envelopes. Kathy is watching. Welcome, Kathy. Anyway, look at this. I think this was made with our cottage, I think it's called Cottage Wreath stamp set. And isn't that cute? And look at that bow. I just love this die cut of this bow. And so she decorated the inside of her card as well. So just a nice, fun, beautiful card. Then I also received this one from Kirsten Rogers. And I think both of these gals are in my Love to Stamp group. And look at these beautiful butterflies. And this designer series paper is one of my favorites right now. It's called Texture Chic. And it's so pretty. I just love it. And then she has the little butterflies all over it. But look, see, it's open. You can see there's the circle in there. And we're going to be making a card a lot like this tonight. And look at this. Isn't this a beautiful card? So again, thank you, Kirsten, for this card. And then the last one, I just got this one today. And this one came from Angela Brooks. And this is using actually a kit that we have. I have to look up the name of it, or if anybody knows the name of it and wants to post it real quick or put it on here real quick, that would be really helpful. But this kit, it's making a difference or something like that. When you purchase it, you also get this lunch bag that matches all the stuff. It's really cute. And a portion of the money goes toward helping individuals who are hungry and need a little help with that. So I think that is very cool. So thank you for this card, Angela. It's so pretty. I love the colors of this kit. So anyway, thank you, all three of you, for my cards. I love them. Let's go ahead now and we will get started on the cards that I have for you guys. So the first one is a lot like the butterfly one I just showed you. And look at that. It just says thank you. And for this card, we're going to be using the Elephant Parade stamps. We're going to use that little flower right there. We're going to use the Good Feelings stamps. And then we're using Stylish Shapes dies. I'll leave those out because we are going to be die cutting live. So anyway, so this card, first you open it like this, and then you open it like this. So I call this a peekaboo card. I don't know what this fold is really card. It's kind of a trifold, but I don't know what it's really called. So I call it a peekaboo card. And it's nice and quick and simple. So let's go ahead and get started. start with our half a sheet of cardstock. It's just 8.5 by 5.5, scored in the middle at 4.25, and make my edge nice and sharp there. Let's go ahead and decorate our envelope. Got all my little pieces here. And the designer series paper that I'm using, this is our Black and White Designs. Oh yeah, so if somebody could share this to the group for me, that would be absolutely lovely. If not, I can do it later, but if somebody could share it now, people could watch it live if they choose, and I would be very, very grateful. Anyway, the Black and White Designs Designer Series paper, one side is kind of grayish and black hues and the other is black and white. I really like it. I think it's a really fun DSP. So let's go ahead and put a little glue on the envelope. The strip of Designer Series paper that I'm going to glue on here is just 2.5 inches by 6 inches. And I just make a nice little, a nice little line of glue there around the edges. And then line up my Designer Series paper strip. Kind of move it around. Yeah, I like to use my liquid glue for this because if I need to move my Designer Series paper around just a little bit to get things to line up, the liquid glue gives me a little bit of time before it starts to get tacky and set, and so I can kind of slide the paper around a little bit to get it lined up the way I want it. So I do recommend using the liquid glue when you do that, and it's Stampin' Up! Carries it, and it's just $4 a bottle, and a bottle lasts quite a while. Those who watch me regularly, you guys know that I use it quite a bit, and a bottle lasts me for quite some time. Okay, so we have our envelope done. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and do the inside of the card. Actually, you know what? I'm going to continue folding this just because I started to fold it, but we're going to do all of our little cutouts first. So, okay, got that. And then I can see that the edge of my paper is coming up just a little bit. So I'm just using my bone folder to get it to go back down. Okay, so let me show you how I made the holes in the front. Eloise has joined us. Welcome. Okay, so I'm just going to take a tiny little bit of my seal here. Just a tiny, tiny, tiny bit. Enough that it's going to hold this in place, but I'll be able to peel it back off really easily because this is not its permanent place. But I do want it to stay in place while I'm cutting the circle out. So here I have my big boss, the big embossing folder. Move a few things out of the way. I know that you can't always see everything when I'm using the big one, but I'll try to move stuff around so that you can. What I have done here, let me see, move this back just a little bit more. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I lined up my polka dotted paper on a piece on the card front. Open your card. That's really important because if you don't, you'll cut a hole through the back of your card too, and that's not the intention here. Okay, so then the circle that we're going to use here is the largest. With these dies, it's the largest circle. I think that's what I did. Yes, it is. Okay, and I'm just going to line it up, and it'll stay in place pretty well, but if you're worried about it staying in place, you can use, I like to use Post-it tape. You can see my little pieces of Post-it tape because you can reuse it to hold things in place, but you don't really have to for this. And then I'm just trying to make sure it's centered. I get really picky about that kind of thing. Like if it's just a fraction off, I can sense it. Problem is I'm really good at noticing when it's off. I'm not so good at getting it right. Okay, so a couple of people have commented on my little glue stand, my little monster feet. I Gosh, I bought this, I want to say I saw another demonstrator with one, or I watched a YouTube video and somebody had this and I loved it. And so she had posted in her details, you know, if you like it and you want to buy one, the details of where you can go are in my feed. And so I got the details and I contacted the lady and I said, can you make a pink one? Because I love to do everything pink. And she did. So that's my little monster feet. Okay, so now I'm just going to feed this through. I have to move this back while I do that. I apologize ahead of time because this is going to be kind of wiggly. Okay. All right. Move these pieces out of the way here. Move this back up because I'm going to have another part to show you. Okay, so you can see now you just pop this circle out. And you know what I would do is save these because you can do another card with these pieces, you know, something else with these pieces down the road. And then the next step, go ahead and take this piece off. And then I'm going to line it up on this, on the rich raspberry. Oops, hang on. Shut my door so my husband doesn't have to listen to me. Okay, so first what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and use my adhesive to glue this piece down. Hey, Anne, welcome. You are our drawing winner this week for the conversation participation drawing that I do. And I don't think I have your mailing address. So if you want to send me either an email or a message here on Facebook with your mailing address, I can get your prize out in the mail to you. Okay. All right. So now I'm just going to line this up on my rich raspberry, and there's just a really tiny little margin here on this one, like this. Okay. Now I've taken my other circle. It was the second one down here. And I'm just going to put this right in the center. Now for this one, I did use my tape to hold it in place, just because this one, I really wanted to make sure it was centered because it was with, you know, inside of this other circle. So I wanted to make sure it stayed in place and didn't get all crooked and wonky on me. So I'll go ahead and feed it through now. Move this back. Okay. I can move all my plates and everything out of the way now because we're done die cutting for a bit. In fact, that might even be all the die cutting we're doing tonight. And again, save this piece. You can do something with the circle later. No sense in wasting it. Okay. Now what I'm going to do, this is kind of bent a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and mount this onto my card front. So let's go ahead and do that. Trying to get it straight, but crooked seems to be what I do well. Okay, so there's our card base. You know, that was pretty easy. Now we're going to take that piece of white cardstock that we had, and it's just slightly smaller than a half of a sheet. Instead of being 8.5 by 5.5, it is 8 by 5. So, and you know what? I think I did 5 1/4. So let me cut this down really quick. Okay. 8.5 by 5.
There we go. And what we're going to do is we're going to stick it on the inside of the card, but we want the fold of the card to be going toward the outside, not like a book, but backwards. So let's go ahead. Let's stamp this though before we put it in. So remember, the front of it is actually what would normally be the back of your card. So first I'm going to take my thank you stamp. See, get my little flower out. And I'm going to use my black Memento ink. I like this color combination too, Kathy. I like it when I love black and white with a little pop of color. Okay, now what you could do is put this inside right about where it's going to be when you glue it down, right? Just like so. And then just stamp it right in the middle there. There, just like that. And then clean off my stamp. And put the lid back on before I do something unfortunate. And then got my rich raspberry. My lid's getting stuck there. And I'm just going to stamp all over with this little flower. At first I was a little nervous about doing this because I thought it would take forever, but it's not too bad, to tell you the truth. And just, make sure they're going all different directions. And going off the edge, because it just tends to make it, the eye will keep going versus all of a sudden come to a screeching halt. So make sure you go off your edges a little bit. See, this is going pretty quick. Even though I'm stamping the whole thing, it does go pretty quick. There we go. So we've got our little flower all over the place there. And then another little detail before we glue this in. I have two little strips here. I have a strip of the black and white with, the black polka dots and a little strip of the rich raspberry. So let's glue those together, and then we're going to put this on the inside of the card. Whoop. I kind of think that my glue bottle is starting to near the end of its life, and because the glue is coming out a whole lot slower now, so that makes me think that perhaps it's starting to think about making a life transition. Okay, so now I'll open this up. And I want to put this along the bottom of the card, just like so. And I didn't get this quite to the edge, so I'm just going to trim off a teeny, 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 tiny little piece. There we go. And we'll glue this down. This is another part of the card where I do really prefer to use my liquid glue, because it does allow me to wiggle it around a little if I need to make sure it's straight. And one little tip for something like that is go ahead and close your card. If you're putting it up against the fold, take advantage of that and partially close your card. And what it does is it kind of blocks you from going any further and helps you make sure you get a straight line. Okay, now let's go ahead and cut that off. I put a little more glue on there than I needed. So I'm just trying to make sure I don't get the glue everywhere. Okay, now let's go ahead and glue this to the inside of our card. this is not very good, very straight. And that bothers me. Well, I can fix it, I guess, once it's in there. Try to get my margins so that they're pretty close to the same. There we go. And I'm going to just fix that little crookedness that's bothering me. There. And I got a little bit of glue right there on my card, so I'm just going to use my glue eraser. This is not a product that Stampin' Up! Sells. It's just something I bought on Amazon. They're really cheap. They're like $3 or something like that. But I definitely recommend having one because they're nice for picking off little bits of glue like that. Okay, so last detail of our card, I have some black glitter organdy, or it's called glitter organdy, or I think it's our glitter organdy. Black glitter organdy ribbon. So I'm just tying a little bow and, you know, just kind of fiddle with it until the bow is the size that you want it. I'm trying to make sure my little loops are, you know, the same size on both sides. Anybody else like me where then you keep fiddling with it and now it's not even, so you have to pull the other side. Well, now it's too long on that side, so now you have to pull the other side again, and pretty soon you have no loops and you have to start over. I do that. Guilty as charged. Okay. This ribbon kind of was sitting in my drawer a bit misshapen, so it's sort of laying funny. Okay. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a glue dot and I'm going to stick it to the back of the knot of my bow and then just peel it right off and stick it right at the bottom of this little circle. And there we go. There is our first card. What do you guys think? Okay, my computer is asking me if I want it to update right now, and no, I do not. So I have to try to find my cursor so that I can tell it, no, I do not want to update right now. But thank you for asking. Okay, so card number 1. What did you think of that one, you guys? Nice and easy, and I think it is a fun fold. Okay. Now, the next card I have for you guys, this one is using cottage, the suite is called Abigail Rose, but the stamps, if you get just the stamps, it's called Cottage Rose. The dies are called Cottage Flowers, but it's the Abigail Rose bundle. Don't ask me to explain it because I can't. But this is one of my favorite stamp sets right now. One of my favorite bundles right now. So we're going to make this cute little fun fold. I used the Hues of Happiness designer series paper for this, but isn't that gorgeous, you guys? The belly band slides right off. Oh, thank you guys. And then this is our fun fold, and it folds out like this. So if you see it from the top, you can see all those little angles. And this is another one that's pretty quick and easy. So let's go ahead and get started by gluing. Oops, let me move my little baggie from the last card. Okay, we're going to glue our designer series paper onto our envelope first and foremost. I really like this designer series paper, especially some of the sheets are floral, and then some of them look like an oil painting, sort of, kind of a cross between watercolor and oil painting. And I love it. I think it's so gosh darn pretty. So again, I'm just lining it up with the top of my envelope. Put my fingers right up at the top there to make sure that it's lined up properly. Squish it down and then trim off the extra. See, you can see I should have shown you the whole piece. That was one of the floral pieces. And if you're new to Stampin' Up, you may not know that our designer series paper is double-sided. And I think it's important to know that because I have a friend who does not make cards, but she scrapbooks. And she said, I look at the Stampin' Up paper, but I don't like, like I'll look at a pack and I like it, but I don't like all of the sheets. I don't like all of the pages or designs, and I don't know that I would use them all. Well, the cool thing is, because our paper is double-sided, chances are you will like one or the other side. Now, chances are great that you're going to like both sides, and then you have to figure out how, sometimes you have to choose between which sides to use. But really, when you get it, my point is, if you don't like one side, it really may not be a problem because you probably will like the other side. Okay, so there's our envelope. Now we've got our sheet here, our main card base, and this is our Starry Night. It's one of our new, hey Teresa, welcome. It's one of our new in colors, and this is 5.5 by 11. So it's just a little more than half of a piece of cardstock cut in lengthwise. And then what I did is I scored it at 1.25 inches. I don't know, can you see the score lines on there? I scored it at 1.25 inches. I scored it at 5.5 inches, and then I scored it at 9 inches. So now the first fold is going to go in like that. The second fold is going to go in like that. And then the third fold is going to go back this way. And you know what? If you do it wrong, it's not a big deal. It's paper. You can fold it back. Well, I'm glad you didn't miss all of it, Teresa. It's good to have you join us. Okay, so now, okay, I lied. See, remember when I said if you fold the paper the wrong direction, you just fold it back? That's exactly what I did. It should have gone the other way. So when your card is closed, this piece and this piece both fold to the right, okay? Now let's start putting some pieces together. I'm going to move these out of the way for the moment. I don't want to lose them, so I'm keeping them in their little bag. So I have all these little strips that I have cut. I have one that's 1 inch wide, and then I have two that are 1 3/4 inches wide. And then I have some designer series paper pieces that are just a 1/8 of an inch smaller than the other pieces. And what I did actually, how did I do this? Did I do this backwards? Silly me. Oh, but I could do it to the bottom. Okay, that's right. There we go. I did it so that, I cut it so that they would stay in order. See, like that? You can see how I just took one strip and cut it that way. So I wanted to make sure I get the right pieces in the right places. So now let's go ahead and stick these down. And again, I'll use my liquid glue. Remember, a little goes a very long way with the Tombow liquid glue. So I just put a little bit on there and I line it up. The white pieces, remember, are just about 1/8 of an inch bigger than the designer series paper. So there isn't a whole lot of wiggle room there. And that's one of the reasons that I do like using the liquid glue, so I can make sure to line it up properly and kind of slide it around if I need to. Okay. Oops. Okay, got this one on there. Let's get that last one on there. Oh my goodness, my dog is the loudest drinker in the world. She is in the living room drinking out of her dog bowl, which is at the end of the hallway from my office. My office door is shut and I can hear her drinking. Hey, Marcia, welcome. Thanks for joining us. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and glue all these pieces into place. And for this, I'm okay using my Seal Plus to glue these pieces down. So just line them up here like this. It's kind of not centered very well. Maybe I should have used my liquid glue so I could slide it around easier. Okay, let's try it again. There we go. There we go. Better, better, better. And now I'm going to put this one down. Put it right here on this piece. Kind of hard to see where the edge is because it blends in so much with the piece behind it because, well, you know, it's the same color. And now I'm going to put this one over here. So make sure that it kind of lines up with the one right here. Now let's do the inside piece of the card. And for that, I have a piece of basic white and a strip of the same designer series paper that I used on the front. And I'm just going to glue this down along the bottom just to give the inside a little something. You don't need to put a whole lot in. Sometimes I'll stamp a little something in the corner or maybe put a die cut, but I like to have just something on the inside. There's another demonstrator named Kelly Atchison, and one of the things she says, and I love this, she says, the party shouldn't end when you open the card. And I love that. Okay, so now let's go ahead and glue this into our card, and then we have the card base done, and all we have to do is get our belly band ready. So let's see here. Get this guy lined up. And there we go. What do you guys think so far? Okay, so now I have, this is a piece of scrap paper. You know what? Did I forget to cut a piece for the belly band? Hang on. Well, hi, Lucy. She can be in here. It's okay. I just shut the door so you don't have to listen to me. Okay. She is going to, I'm sure, I shut the door for her, and now she's going to want out because the door is shut. I think she just doesn't like shut doors. Okay, so I have this strip. This is 1 inch by 10 inches. And I know it's going to overlap a little bit, my belly band is, and that's okay. I kind of want it to because then you know it's gonna, you're gonna have enough room to give it enough adhesive that it stays the way you want it. But I don't want it to be right in the middle. I want it to be kind of over here. So what I did is I went like this, just because then I knew where my center was, you know, where the pieces were going to meet. And I just folded it around like this. There we go. And then I'm going to take a little bit of Tear and Tape because Tear and Tape is probably the strongest adhesive we have. So I really like to use it for things like belly bands because I know it's going to hold really well. So I've got that piece, and then, oh no, Lucy's going to town with a blanket that's on the floor. Okay. I wish you guys could see this. It's a big, huge comforter that she's tearing into and putting all over trying to take all over the floor. It's kind of funny. I really like the colors of this too, Marcia. Stampin' Up! Really did a knockout job with this. Okay, so I'm going to take off my little release paper, and I'm just folding that extra. There was a little piece of the tape that went a little long. You can just fold it back on top of itself. Take the release paper off this one. And now I'm just going like this. I probably should have laid it around my card first to make sure that it wasn't too tight, because it is a little bit snug and I don't want it quite so snug. So let's see if I can pull it apart. It is hard to pull things apart when you use tear and tape, just so you know, because it is such a strong adhesive. So let's see. There we go. That's better. Okay, now we're going to work on that little flower detail. Excuse me. Okay, so I have a scrap of basic white. I also have my StazOn ink, and the reason for this is because we're going to be doing a little bit of using our aqua painters, and the StazOn ink works better with water than the Memento ink, whereas the Memento works a lot better with our Stampin' Blends because they're alcohol based. The size of the cardstock on this one, Susan, it was 11 by 5.5. Okay, so I got the flower. I just love this flower. Okay, and I'm going to ink it up. Lots of ink on that baby. Okay. And then we're going to fit it on there. There. Isn't that pretty? I love that flower. And just so you know, StazOn will stain your stamp. It's not a huge deal because, like you can see, mine is black like that, but it is cleaned off. So, you know, when I stamp with it, that black is not still on the surface where it will transfer to your other inks or your other images. It just shows up on the stamp. So it's okay. All right, now what we're going to do is I'm going to take my aqua painters and the colors of ink that I have here. I have Orchid Oasis, and I have Starry Sky, I have Coastal Cabana, and I have Pool Party. I'm going to start with my lighter colors. Let's start with the lightest one. Now, what I recommend is, if you haven't used our aqua painters before, you should try them out. They're really fun. You get water in the base of the painter, and then it works just like a paintbrush, like a cross between a paintbrush and a pen. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take, this is just a regular acrylic block that we use on our stamps, and I'm going to get some ink there on it. And now that becomes my palette. I want to add a little water that makes it a little watercolory-er, but it also lightens it because I want to have some different shades here. So I'm going to start by just coloring in the leaves. And you can see I'm going out of the lines. That's okay. That's one thing I really like about watercolor, is sometimes that happens. It does go out of the line, so it doesn't look weird when you do. Okay, so I'm going to let that soak in a little bit. Clean off my my aqua painter by just adding a little bit more water to it, and then just scribbling on my scratch paper until it's clear. And I squeeze the pen to get the water to come out. Okay, now I'm going to take, I have a paper towel just to wipe this off. And now I'm going to do the Orchid Oasis. And get a little bit on my block. Guess that was a lot of it, wasn't it? And see, I'm dropping some of the water on there from the pen. I think I want it a little lighter than that. So I'll get a little bit more water on there. Get some of that extra water off as well. Oh, I see a leaf that I forgot to color, so we'll make sure to come in and get that later. And I just, you know, kind of filling in the different petals. And you can see I'm not being super precise about it. Again, if I go out of the lines a little bit, I'm okay with that. Okay, gonna let that soak in. Again, clean off my brush a little bit. Okay. And now I'm going to take my paper towel and dry this off. I did bring in several, so, you know, if you make too big of a mess, you just get another paper towel. Put this ink pad away. And then I need to get this out again because I want to get that one leaf that I forgot about. There we go. There we go. Holy cow, my dog is getting something under the bed in here and it's driving me nuts. I think she thinks she's a termite and she wants to chew everything, and one of these days this house is going to just fall down around me. Hang on. What are you chewing? Oh, she's a naughty girl. Naughty girl. Okay, now let's go ahead and take our Coastal Cabana and get some ink on there. Now this time I'm using the brush. We have 3 sizes. One is a little bit wider brush, and then there's a medium one, and then there's a real fine one. And this time around we're using the fine one. Squirt some water in there. And I just want to kind of make like a little bit of detail for shading where the lines are on these leaves, the veins of the leaves, I guess I should say. Okay, clean it off. Put my ink pad away. And now I'm going to use the Starry Sky. Get a little bit of ink on there. And you know, you can always add more water if you want it a little lighter. And now I'm going to do the center of the flower. And then I'm going to kind of do some of these little shaded bits. And it does look kind of funny when you first do it, but you give it some time and the ink starts to soak, it starts to absorb into the paper, and it really starts to look a lot more natural, and it looks really pretty. And then the other thing I want to do is take this Starry Sky, the darker blue, and I just want to get these little guys right here. There. And clean off my brush. And clean off my block. Okay. Okay, put my pen away. Now what we're going to do is we are going to cut this out with the die cut machine again. My cutting and embossing machine. You know, if you were to take advantage of the signing up special this month where you get $155 worth of products for $99, you could get this as part of your kit. The big one is $120. The small one is $60. And you could get that as part of your kit. I use the StazOn with my aqua painters and my watercolor pencils. So StazOn works with water-based products, and then the Memento works best with the alcohol-based products like our Stamp and Blend markers. Okay, now I've got the die here. Now this is one where a good example where I'm going to want to use some of my Post-it tape to hold the die in place. And you know what I should do? I'm going to move this out of the way for just a moment because my paper is still a little bit wet, and I want it dry when I put it on my card. So what I'm going to do, sorry, this is going to get loud for just a minute, and I'm just taking my heating tool for my embossing. You could use a hair dryer if you don't have one, and I'm just using it to dry my paper. Be very careful because A, it does get hot, and 2, you don't want to burn your paper. This tool won't. I do wonder, however, if a hair dryer might. It does make the paper curl a little bit as you dry it, so just flip it over and do the back side. And it flattens back out, see? Okay. You want out, Lucy? Thank you, ma'am. Okay. So now I'm going to take my die and I'm going to put it on here, line it up where I want it. What did I do with, there's my tape. I'm going to line it up just so. Okay. I think that looks good. So I'm going to tape it down and turn my machine back around. Oh, thank you, Anne. I am not a watercolor artist by any stretch of the imagination. I'm really not. But I have learned that if you can get past the idea of it going out of the lines a little bit and not necessarily being a perfectionist, you can do it quickly and still be happy with the results. So that's my little tip of the day. Well, I suppose I provided a lot of tips today, right? I hope so. Okay, now I'm going to put my die back. I stuck my tape to my machine because I will reuse it several times. Okay. Now, throw away a little bit of garbage here. And where did my card go? And my belly band. My card and my belly band. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I want to go ahead and glue this right onto there. So again, I'm going to use, I'm trying to decide if I'm going to use my, I might as well just use my Terran tape. That way if it gets pulled off and on a lot, I know that it's going to stay well. So figure out right about where the center is, where I want to put that. So it looks like right about there. And again, when you use Terran tape, it's a good idea to press it down, like with a bone folder or some tool like that, just to make sure it's stuck really well to your paper. And then I just take my Take Your Pick tool and I peel it off, peel off that release tape, and then put this where you want it. Now, what I should have probably done before I stuck that down is I have these final little pieces. What I did is I cut a few of the leaves out of vellum, which I'll put them up there on my computer. You can't see that, but I know that if I put them on my white paper here, they'll get lost. And what I did is, first of all, I just snipped off the little stems on there because I don't need that and I don't want them getting in the way, and it makes it easier. If I've already stuck this down, it makes it easier if I'm not trying to put too long of a piece back there. And let's see, let's put one right about there. So all I'm going to do is take a little bit of my liquid glue and just put it right there on the center, where, if I can get the glue to come out. And let's see, how about that. And then, see, I told you I'd lose them if they were on the white paper. And sure enough, that's exactly what I did. Okay, let's put one right about there. Hold it in place for a moment while the glue gets tacky. And then put the third one. Let's put it right about there. Whoops. There. And you can't see it super well. It's, you know, it doesn't just jump right out at you. And that's what I like about doing it with the vellum, is it's just a little something extra without being too in your face. And so then the last step for this card, because I got this done and I loved how it looked, but I just thought, you know, it just needs a little something. And so I got out our brushed brass butterflies. Try to say that fast. And let's put a few on here. Put one there. Maybe one there. Thanks, Judy. And the final one, I think I'll like it there. There. And our card is done. We'll get my envelope here. See? And see how the blue, you can see that it doesn't look quite so stark because it's absorbed into the paper a little bit. And you know, if you wanted, you could make that center a little bit darker by going over it again now that it's dried and soaked into the paper. And I might do that a little bit later. Okay, so let's clear some stuff out of the way here so that, oh, you know what we didn't do? We didn't put the little birthday message on there. Let's do that really quick. Okay, that's kind of funny. I forgot the sentiment. How do you forget the sentiment? Goodness gracious. I got sidetracked by my dog trying to eat the underside of my bed or whatever it was she was doing. And for this, I'm going to use the, actually, let me see. I'm trying to decide. It looks like I did use the Starry Sky ink. And the message just simply says, happy birthday. And I have a strip here that's just about a 1/2 inch wide. Ink up my stamp and then just come down here. Oops, that's a little crooked. Let's try it again. And that's crooked as well. Okay, let's try it again. Good thing paper has 2 sides, right? Okay, what is wrong with me? Okay, let's try this again. Okay, this is going to drive me batty. I think that last one is as close as I'm going to get. Okay, so I'll clean off my stamp. And then what I'm going to do is, because I used the side of my paper that has that little lip sticking up, I'm going to take my bone folder and just kind of push it back down. And then I'm going to cut the ends of this just at little angles. And I do, okay, make sure which one is the straighter of the two. This is the straighter one. Okay, so this is the back. And I'm going to put a little bit of foam adhesive on the back. Let's see, I'll just use dimensionals. I think dimensionals will fit nicely here. This just pops it up a little bit. Take those backs off. And line it up right about here. Make sure it's straight. There we go. All right, so there we have card number 2. I'll put these things away and we can get going on card number 3. We're running a little bit behind schedule. We'll pick up some time though. I think that was probably the most time consuming of the cards right there. Okay. Now the final card, I used our Hello Ladybug bundle. No, I'm lying. Hello Ladybug stamps and then our medium daisy punch. So let's get going on this one. This is the card we're going to make, this little fun fold. It opens like this and then like this. So it's really just a simple gatefold card, but the way things are laid out, it looks like you've done something a little more adventurous than that. So let's get started. And we'll do our envelope. And for this, the designer series paper that I used for the envelope is just the Coastal Cabana designer series paper from the Brights designer series paper pack. And then the other paper I used is more from that Hues of Happiness that I used on the last card. Okay, so get a little bit of, now a little fun fact for you is this designer series paper right here that I used, it actually, if you look at the whole sheet, has rows of different colors of flowers. It's not all these colors that we're using right here. So you could make this card in several different colors using that designer series paper sheet. Okay, so line this up. Thank you guys for all your comments. And if you are enjoying what you're seeing tonight, I love it when you guys give me thumbs up and hearts because, well, you know, A, it makes me feel good. And then B, it tells the Facebook and YouTube algorithms, hey, people like this video. Let's get it out there for more people to see. Let's recommend it. And so that helps me out as well. And of course, if you share your video, that really helps me. You put it on your own page, and you never know who in your list of friends is going to enjoy it. Okay, so we've got our envelope done. See, there's a lot of little pieces to this, but it does come together pretty darn quickly. Let's start with our card base, Coastal Cabana. It's just our standard half of a sheet. What I did is I scored it at 2 1/8 off the end here, okay? And it's going to fold right to the middle. Now I'm going to fold this piece over to where it meets that piece. And the reason I don't score both ends at 2 1/8 is because sometimes the paper is just a little bit off or a little bit crooked or a little bit whatever, and then it doesn't lay quite right or match up quite right. So if you only score one for that easy fold and plus then you know exactly where it's going to go, then just line up the other side, then you know it's going to line up the way you want it. Let's go ahead and do the inside of the card because that's quick and easy. And it's just a little strip of this floral. Oh. Put a little glue on here. And just line it up there at the bottom. Trim it off. And then we're going to just glue that to the inside of the card, and then the inside of the card is all done. This card really does come together pretty quickly. Like I said, the prep for it to cut all the pieces, that takes a little bit of time, but it's not too bad either, to tell you the truth. Okay. I want to make sure this is straight. And again, I must have had glue on my fingers because I got a little bit on my piece of cardstock there. So I'm going to take my handy little glue eraser and just erase it right off of there. There we go. So now the inside of the card is done. Now I've got a couple of pieces of my pool party paper. And I've got these squares that are going to have just pieces of white on them that we're going to stamp on. So I'm going to set them aside for now. And then I'm not sure what this piece, oh, I know what this piece was for. It took me a minute. We're getting there. We're okay. And then am I missing my little strip? Uh-oh. I'm missing my strip that goes, I am missing my little strip that goes down the center of that. I'll cut it really quick. Hold on. Okay, I'm back. I'm back. Having issues tonight, but I'm back. Okay, so let's go ahead and glue these pieces together. didn't cut that too narrow, I think. Gosh darn it. That's okay, we'll put it in there anyway. Just make sure that I center it well. Oh, that makes me so sad. Oh, so sad. Okay, and we're gonna glue it right there on that side, okay? Let's go ahead and use the seal for that. I actually use the Seal Plus. It's a little bit stronger than our regular seal. And I don't want to have to go back and forth between the two because they look exactly the same and it would just be a pain to, you know, eyeball it to know which was which. So I actually use the Seal Plus. And then I've got these pieces that I'm going to glue on here. Especially for triangular pieces like this, I do prefer to use the liquid glue because I can make sure to get glue in those corners there. There we go. There we go. Let's do the other one really quick. Now for this, to glue it down onto my card again, I will use the liquid glue because of those little corners. It'll bug me if they're not down, but if that doesn't bother you, then you can use your snail or, you know, whatever. But I'm just going to glue that to my corners here. I want to kind of try to line it up with the bottom of this piece. So it's almost like one, you know, if it were one big piece, it would go across that way. I'm going to do the same at the top. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these two smaller squares and I'm going to take my blending brush. Thanks, Marcia. And I'm going to take my, where'd it go? My Coastal Cabana ink. Get my brush inked up there. Get the extra off so I don't end up with big blobs on my white. And now I'm just going to start doing this just to kind of go around the edge. Like that. I'm going to do the other one the same way. There we go. And now I'm going to, actually, yeah, I'm going to close this. And I like to just do this to get some of that extra ink off of my brush. I don't clean my brushes. You know, I try to just use, like this one, I'll just use shades of green. I try to use all my, you know, shades of blue, one for shades of purple, things like that. But I don't have one for every color. Now I'm going to take this scrap piece. And for this one, I'm going to take Bermuda Bay. And I'm going to get the Daisy from the Hello Ladybug set. And just like that. And, you know, I kind of got too close to the edge there. Not a big deal because we're not going to put the entire daisy on there. I'm going to cut some of it off. So that's just where I'll cut it off if I need to. Okay, put the ink pad away. Now this medium daisy punch, it's completely separate from this Ladybug set. It just so happens that it works perfectly for this little daisy. So you can see I'm just lining it up in there and I'm punching it out. Let's get the other one. Line it up in there and punch her out. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a little bit of glue on here, on the center of the flower, as well as the little petals. A little goes a long way. Like, you can barely see that I have glue on here because I'm using such a little amount. And what I want to do is I just kind of want it to go off the edge a little bit. I don't want the entire daisy on there. And then I'm going to just take my snips and I'm going to snip off the edge just like that. Now let's do the other one. There it is. It's like, I know it's somewhere here. Just a little bit of glue. Hey, Kathy, welcome. And let's see, put it right there. And snip off the extra. Okay. And now I have these little pieces of the pool party. We're going to mount these onto the little pieces. You can use your liquid glue, you can use your snail, whatever works for you. I'm just using my liquid glue because that's what I happen to have right there. Okay, do the other one. See how this comes together really pretty darn quick? Whoops, it's a little bit crooked, but again, because I'm using the liquid glue, it allows me to kind of scooch it around a little bit. Scooch is a technical term, just so you know. And now I'm going to put it on my card. And what I want to do is, see, just figure out which direction I want my, there, I think I like them going like that. Okay, so I only want to put adhesive on half of it because if I put adhesive on the whole thing, it's going to glue my card shut. And that's not the goal here. Typically, when you give a card to somebody, you want them to be able to open it. Pro tip right there. And lining it up so that the points of the square are right at the center where the two ends of the fold meet. And I'm kind of lining this up because I want to make sure that my two pieces right here are basically this, not overlapping, but then also right about the same distance from their corner piece right there. So again, make sure you only put glue on one side. Line up the points of your square. And then finally, we have this bigger one. And what we're going to do here is go ahead and glue it on. Just like this. And we're only going to put glue on half again. What you want to do is line it up so that the edge of it lines up with the edge of these pool party pieces so that it's basically the middle there. Okay, so it's just like that, right? Push her down. And now I have my sentiment somewhere. I have one that says hello, and I have one that says my friend. Some people are talented enough that they put them both on the same block and have it all lined up so they only stamp it once. That's not me. So now what I do is I close the card because I want to see where, where's my open space, right? So I stamp the hello. Oh no, it didn't get on there quite right. So let's try this again. Well, I'm going to finish this. I'll fix it later, but because of time, I'm going to finish it so that you can at least see what to do. And so then you line up the my friend right under there. So it would say, hello, my friend, only it wouldn't look all messy and boogery like that. And then the last step, I have these fine sparkle adhesive backed gems. We're going to put a few of those on our card. So I'm going to start with some of the bigger ones. A couple of the big ones can go right on the inside of our little daisies here. Oops, just like that. And then I'm going to put a few of the smaller ones on here as well. And then I also liked it just to fill in a little bit here on this piece. So there wasn't just quite so much open white space. And there you go. There is card number 3 with its matching envelope. And that was my 3 fun folds that I have for you tonight. So let's clean up a little bit here. And then we'll take a look, or kind of recap the 3 cards we made. Okay, so we've got, well, let's move this out of the way too. We have this fun guy that we just made. That's so weird. My machine is like making sound. Hold on. I know what happened. Okay, there we go. I threw my keyboard on the bed earlier, and then I just threw some paper, that pad of paper, and it went on my keyboard, and my computer didn't know if I wanted it to be mute or if I wanted it to talk, so it was just kind of making it sort of bubbly sound like I was underwater. Okay, so we've got this fun fold. We have this beautiful fun fold that we made. Remember, with the belly band, and it opened up like this. Get in there with our butterflies. And then finally we have this one that was nice and easy, the little peekaboo. Remember that? Nice and easy. So those are the 3 cards I have for you tonight. I sure hope you guys had fun. I always have fun, and I love coming here and stamping with you guys. I enjoy the friendships that I'm making here. Hey, Tracy, I just saw you snuck in. Thank you. If you would like to order any supplies that you saw me use tonight, or maybe you have some of your own personal stash that you need to restock, if you want to take advantage of that joining special I showed you, you can do that at my website at heathersides.stampinup.net. If you place an order under $150, I'd appreciate it if you would use this host code. This helps me to be able to continue to bring you these videos for free. But if your order is over $150, please don't use the host code, because you will have some Stampin' Rewards coming to you from Stampin' Up! And I want to make sure that you are the one who gets those rewards. If you have any questions, if you have any suggestions, I'm always open to suggestions. You can email me at stamphappenings@gmail.com, or you can send me a message here on Facebook. I hope you guys have a great week, and I will see you guys next Wednesday. Have a good one.